What is up, everybody? Welcome to the TNT 2020 Championship Grand Finals Premier League. I am Delthius. I got some boys at the table with me. What's up, AV Ultima? What's up, gentlemen? How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Hey there, guys. Good to be here.
AV?
Yeah, thank you for having me.
AV coming in hot. Oh, I should probably do that. Bam. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the best of 5 between Haru and Blue Coon for the third place match. And while we're getting started here, I just do want to thank everybody involved with this event. I mean, we had over 50 people playing and organizing this thing. Big shout out to Mochaccino, Epicosity, Marmu, Premium Bow behind the scenes. Everybody, all the players involved. I mean, we had so many casters: Solomon, Kerpa, Tosh, Jet. I think Marmu casted as well. Probably a couple I didn't name. I mean, there's just been so many of them. And we've got some good prize pool going on here for this. We've got first place getting $40, Premier Champion 2020, and the best role in the Pocket Watch Games Discord. And they go ahead and seed into, I guess, Mocha's next tournament coming up later in the year called the Super Championship. And second place gets $20. Third place with that $10. So it's real cool. What's up, everybody? Great job, Cast and Tosh. Some pretty exciting matches. Congratulations to Melvin for taking that one. And yeah, I think we're getting close here. So, what are you thinking coming into this, gentlemen? Are you familiar with how these players have been playing lately, or?
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar because I train with the both of them to prepare the semi-finals and quarterfinals too for Bitcoin. So yeah, I know their style is pretty well. I don't think they're going to vary too much from what they played in the semi-finals, but they might try the all snake mine decks I practice with them. So maybe we will see that.
Yeah, I know Haru tends to be pretty aggressive. So I'm curious if he's gonna want to try to take that tempo. At least when I've played against him in the ladder, he's always like really trying to put the pressure on. So.
Well, he wasn't always like that, but he tried to play more and more aggressive lately. He really trained, so he told me he trained to be more aggressive, to practice his pushes, so I think he saw the ladder as a training opportunities. So that's why he was so aggressive with you in the ladder, I think.
That makes sense, trying to hammer out various builds and stuff, but we'll see if he actually brings that to the table. It is risky being aggressive against very strong players, and Blue Coon is no slouch, so let's see what they want to bring to the table. It looks like Haru kind of snap picks, knows what his deck composition should be here, and Blue Coon giving it a little bit of thought. And there we go. He just went random.
Just went random.
It actually wound up with not a terrible deck. In the right, we've got Blue Coon. On the left, we've got Haru. AV, Blue Coon going random, man. What do you think of that one?
You mentioned this was a third place match?
Yes. Yeah, this is going to be a best of 5 third place match here.
My experience, these things have turned out to be quite meme-ish, but as you said, this deck that he got isn't quite bad, actually. So, good roll, actually.
Yeah, surprisingly, it worked out. The Balloon and Fox can kind of synergize together. He's got the Skunks for some AoE, he's got some Snakes for some single target, and Haru rocking Squirrel, Toad, Mole. Is that something you think is pretty powerful in the early game these days, gentlemen?
I don't think it's that powerful in the early game, but it's very, very popular. It's what Haru and a lot of other premier players have been doing lately. But I think Blue Coon's decks, like you said, is very good actually, but I'm pretty certain he never practiced that deck before. So, but it could be really good actually. Very defensive and actually maybe good in the late game, or maybe not, because Toads are very, very difficult to handle in the late game.
Yeah, the Toads from Haru are probably in anticipation of Chameleons, if I had to guess, that Blue Coon is not rocking this time around. And I think the Snakes with some decent micro can do okay against Chameleons in engagements, like kind of punish them with the poison when they try to get that last minute stealth, you know?
Yeah, and Snakes are particularly good against Chameleon in the early game. Ishii used them, or he tried to use them against Haru in a very aggressive way, but it's still very hard to make it work because if you go for a one base push and it doesn't work, even if it's with snakes, then you're behind in economy after that. But yeah, fast snakes can be really good against chameleons.
Fast expansion here from Haru. Meanwhile, snakes coming down for Blue Coon. Let's see how this plays out. A little bit of an early game. You know, Haru just trying to macro up here, and it kind of puts Blue Coon in the position where he needs to get something done, or he might start falling behind.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And just as you say that, he's moving out now to push his expansion.
Yeah, the snake is going to do a good job starting to poke down. Haru has to respect this. He can't let too many stacks get on the gristmill. We might have an engagement coming up. Blue Coon wants to tag as many different squirrels as he can with the snake, but Haru is cleaning it up just fine. You know, just overwhelming numbers of squirrels can do a good job against things like snakes here.
It was pretty smart and unusual from Haru to not go chameleons early on. I think Haru has become pretty good at handling fast snakes from playing against Mishi.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Mishi still doing that? I remember his super old school Mishi like 5-farm snake pigeon rush. That was crazy, but that was like years ago.
Yeah, it's not a snake rush like doing a snake before the 8th farm, but going for a fast expansion is pretty meta nowadays. So doing a one base snake attack is a pretty good way to punish player who go for fast expand and fast chameleons. But Haru knows this now. So
I feel like Haru's in a great spot this game. Blue Coon is going to try to run around with these lizards, get something done, but Haru kind of beat him to the punch as far as farms go. I think he kind of won that first engagement, but Blue Coon is not slouching. He's got a second base up on his own. He's looking for a window to get some damage done, but you got to be careful with these lizards. If you end up losing too many of them, you can expose yourself to a counterattack here.
Oh yeah. I think Haru is playing very solid and is a fantastic position from the early game.
We need that big Wolf AV. Wolf has actually come back, surprisingly. It really combos nicely with some of the strong tier 2. But look at this lizard run by. I like the position of these moles to try to help defend. Oh man, and that actually worked out. The pig doesn't even go down.
Whoa.
Yeah, just amazing positioning. The mole's just staying there for defense, not getting that one pig at all. Just as you said, Haru's playing amazing right now. Position is just so good here on top of this high ground.
Yeah, the mill aren't spread out, and Haru knows how to deal with lizard flank and chameleon flank. Like you see, he's splitting his army to defend every spot.
So the Fox Warren got thrown down, but Haru went to go scout it. This is actually a really good time for Blue Coon to try to harass with the lizards because he's kind of buying time, keeping Haru at home while his Fox Warren gets up. The longer that goes unscouted, the better.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an anti-scout tactic. But he's going to scout it anyway, maybe? Yeah, he definitely saw it.
Okay, how's the level now? I adjusted it again. I apologize. I've been tweaking with the levels here in this first game, trying to get it just right. We do have 3 casters here. All right, so some people are saying it's fine, but let me know. Don't you're not bothering me, Chad. If there's something wrong with levels, please do let me know.
So Blue sold the Fox.
Blue sold the Fox here, builds a balloon. I guess he's anticipating a big attack coming out of Haru. Maybe he saw some extra mole warrens get thrown down. This is a pretty chunky army here from Haru. Lots of falcons and cams, some moles on the front to tank, but he does have to attack right into this balloon. Is he going to be able to pull this off? There's a lot of skunk gas going down, but this army from Haru just looks overwhelming.
Yeah. I think only Tots could have handled this push.
Some crippling damage getting done. Maybe Haru pushes him back eventually, but I think the damage has already been dealt here. This second base going down. Blue Coon taps out like perfectly in time with it.
Man, do you think Blue Coon was anticipating the attack and sold and was just hoping to defend, but as you said, didn't have the proper unit comp to actually push it off?
Yeah, I think he knew it was coming, but wasn't quite able to get it there. Another random deck here from Blue Coon.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh, he's memeing hard. On the bottom, we've got Haru playing with some solid standard stuff. And on the right, rocking that random, we've got Blue Coon with Artie, Mine, and Bora. Let's go, man. I would love to see Blue Coon win a random game here. That would be absolutely nuts.
Blue Coon only has Squirrels to shoot against Falcons.
That is true. Maybe if you're Blue Coon with this deck, you want to do a board timing with like 6 cams or something. I don't know. I don't think you can let the game go too long. The Falcons are going to be a really big deal. It would be hard to even defend an Artie if you got one out. But imagine he takes this natural base kind of on the edge of his island. You could put an artillery cannon and really threaten this whole kind of 4 gristmill setup that Haru's got going on in the south.
If Haru decides to go for that early expand like last game, would the Boar Rust, as you mentioned, be more effective against that, or is the hold still too strong in that case?
So typically, we don't normally see players going for like YOLO one base all ins. In that situation, it could maybe be a bit more beneficial for Blue. What I'd imagine he'd probably do is go up to like second base, half saturation, and throw the board down. Is that normally what you'd expect for a board timing, Gent?
That's what James would do, definitely.
Well, you always gotta defer to King James for board timings. He's got some of the best in the business. Not really King James anymore, I guess, but it's just such a good nickname.
Yeah. He
Haru
managed to become king after beating Mishi in the season, and then he held the title pretty well until Haru took it from him.
Yeah, Haru's the latest tournament winner, isn't he?
Yeah. He's the current champion of the 21 something.
21 Generals, I think, was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, James won the 21 rooms, right? I think that's what it was. No, he was
He won
already...
the 12, he won the 12 duels, and then he already held the position.
And then he held the title in that one, that's
Yeah.
right. Because I remember the King James as part of the storyline for that one. But Haru's coming in aggressive. This is what I was talking about earlier, kind of anticipating Haru turning on the heat a little bit. You know, these moles, the fact that they build instantly after you place that Warren down, really makes a big difference. Try to come in and overwhelm. But Blue Coon has not been greedy. He's only been building tier 1 outside the gristmill, and I think he's got enough to defend here.
Yeah.
This could have really been devastating, though, if Blue Coon like threw down a couple farms or tried to get into a tier 2 or something.
And now Haru is losing a lot of tempo because he has to sell them all. Oh, I'm surprised Blue Coon didn't try to chase all the way down to the main.
Oh wait, I screwed up the scoreboard. It was actually Haru that won game 1, not Blue Coon. What am I doing?
Yeah, he had opportunity to take that high ground near his base and do some significant damage, but decided to just take the mill instead.
Yeah.
Though he has the map control now. Feel like Blue Coon or Haru really needed that middle base to make his position on the map, but should be able to pull back for a little here. We'll see how it goes.
It's working very well for Blue Coon for now.
Yeah, it's always hard to have the discipline to kind of pull back, you know, after you get a lot of damage done.
Certainly.
A lot of times you want to just kind of come in there and try to end the game, but if you're not careful, that defender's advantage for your opponent could kind of put the match back at parity, you know, if you take a bad engagement. So Blue Coon stepping back, you know, trying to get a couple farms, get up some camps. If he gives Haru too much breathing room, then maybe Haru can start to stabilize this match. But so far, I think Blue Coon's still got a nice advantage in his favor.
Yeah, I think Blue Coon could have capitalized more on his victory by selling T1 a bit earlier than this. But he's still in a great position, I think.
Yeah.
So now Haru really needs to scoot the boar as soon as possible, because a boar that is not scooted is very, very deadly.
Yeah, and he did not get the scout that time around, especially because Haru's army is very, very tier 1 heavy.
Chameleon's taking 2 pigs.
Oh,
on the main base.
Nice, Avi. I missed that. I apologize. Good call there. So that's huge, and that's always really annoying too when it's some of these farms that are almost fallowed, because you don't want to rebuild that pig, you know. So it's kind of like whatever's left on that farm is just kind of gone at that point. But it doesn't look like there's too much there anyways. But still a nice little hit by Blue Coon.
Yeah, I think Blue Coon is trying to be oppressive with Chameleon to just get more time for his board to finish while not being scouted.
So that board did get scouted by Haru pretty recently.
Oh, okay.
So he knows it's on the way, but I don't think he's really got enough time to actually pivot and prepare for this. I mean, the board is almost out. This attack's going to be coming in like 30 seconds if Blue Coon just pulls the trigger as soon as he's got the board here.
Why is Haru not attacking right now? If he saw the board, he should really make a desperation attack, because once the board is out, there's nothing he can do.
He's trying to set up a flank with some of his units, it looks like. Maybe the dream for him is to get the toe connections on the board, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Here's a big engage. Haru trying to come in with a concave, and it's actually kind of working here. The mole flank and the Chameleons up front doing surprisingly well here.
Oh, the board one is taking out all the Chameleon.
Yeah, the board bomb finishes the job, but I think if you're Haru, you're kind of happy. Obviously, you wanted to finish. You wanted that engagement to go a little better for you, but he didn't just die.
Yeah, he couldn't have asked for more with that composition.
That was phenomenal unit positioning in preparation for that fight. The surface area was just crazy.
Yeah, typically you want those toads to hit the Chameleons, right? But Haru positioned them to the left, and they just flanked all the way through the back, and it was just toad-on-toad connection, and those Chameleons just stayed in the fight so long. Really had no business lasting that long, but as you said, what an amazing setup for the fight.
Oh, Haru is cutting a lot of corners to get fast Falcons.
This is a good follow-up, but Blue Coon committed to the second boar. A lot of times we'll see players kind of sell off that, but he's going to go for round 2 here. And that big Falcon commitment that you were just talking about, Gent, it's not. I don't think it's going to be out in time.
Yeah.
That might have been a mistake. Haru looked like he wanted to hard pivot his composition after that first fight, but Blue Coon's not giving him the wiggle room here. Pushing into this mill, and I don't think Haru's got enough.
Yeah.
That's
Nice
going to be
effort.
it.
Nice effort from Haru, though, to survive the first board engagement.
All right, Blue Coon winning with a random deck there, but he had some good units in it. He had Squirrel Cam, Mole, Boar, so you can't complain with that, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. Blue is randoming until he gets a good deck. Wait, Boar and Badger? That's not a really good deck, yeah. Oh, Wolf Badger, like we see in semifinals.
All right, match number 3. On the left, we've got Blue Coon, and over to the right, Haru. Look at this random deck from Blue. Badger Wolf is the dream, right? That would be so cool to see.
But no Pigeon, though. And Haru lost 2 games against Wolf Badger in the semifinal, and it was close games, so I think now he's a bit more used to deal with Wolf Badger. I don't see it working for Blue Coon in this game. But we'll see. Maybe I just cursed Blue Coon. Or Haru.
Yeah, I feel like Haru's on top of his scouting enough, and he also knows the windows where he's got a lot of opportunity. So if Blue Coon tries to do something crazy like throw down double tier 3, Haru should be able to sniff that out, build a whole bunch of moles, and push in,
Yeah.
Let's see how these guys want to take it. 8 farm openings from both sides. The map looks fine. If the game goes super long, it's a little better for Blue here, but Haru's got access to 3 bases. That's typically all you need.
I think Blue's bases are a bit spread out, though.
Yeah, that is true. So maybe some Chameleon harassment could really be a big deal this game.
Yeah.
Let's see where this game wants to go. Good to be here with you guys, AV and Gent. This is going to be a fun day. Shout out to everybody in the chat and the Twitch. What's going on, guys? We've had a really action-packed Sunday already. We had Jet and Tosh already streaming multiple matches here. Right at the grand finals. Got a lot of good things going on in the scene. This tournament's been a blast. We got Pocket World up and running. Blue Coon looking to sneak out a wolf. 8 farm double wolf. I love it.
Whoa.
I love it.
Look at. He's so far away. There's no way Haru can screen that, right?
Well, Blue Coon doesn't have, like, an overwhelming amount of units to really keep Haru out of his base. I think that's what gets difficult when you approach the mid-game. It's like, even if you're on top of your scouting, you try to get in and get shot down by 20 squirrels or something, you know?
He had the opportunity, but he didn't move all the way through to his territory, so he did not see it.
Ooh, Haru knows something's up. I mean, there's just not a lot of food
Oh,
here.
there he goes.
And there he goes. Now he sees it.
This is what's up. I wonder if he's going to try to snipe it with chameleons.
Dude, Melvin had a good snipe a few games ago, that's for sure. Yeah, what's Haru's response to this? Do you just kind of hang out, build up some tier 2, hope you can overpower just the Squirrel Wolf? I mean, Blue Coon doesn't necessarily have to move out with this wolf. You can do that kind of old school thing, AV, where you just kind of build the wolf and you buff up the pigs, you know? I mean, that's kind of become popular again.
I don't think Haru is responding perfectly to this. He should be more greedy if he's not going to attack or punish the tier 3 Warren somehow.
Oh. He wants to get that.
Okay.
I don't think he saw it before, because he was about to burrow away, and then he saw it and realized and pulled his cams over.
Yeah, like technically he saw it, but he might not have actually seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was scouted by his commander, but right in the corner of the screen. And now Haru's moving out. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the first time around
a bit awkward.
he didn't actually see it.
Whoa.
Oh man, these wolf buff squirrels picking up a falcon on the way home. Here's the big attack from Blue Coon. This is a lot of buffed up squirrels, but the cams, the falcons are enough to defend for now. But this isn't horrible for Blue Coon. You know, the wolf's one of these units that it's not like a boar where you really just got to get things done right there. He can hang back, he can buff up these war ends, buff up the economy, and kind of wait for round 2.
Yeah, it was a pretty good attack for Blue Coon.
Yes. Yeah, he got a couple tier 2 there. And Haru building up a bunch of moles.
Oh.
Blue Coon scouts it though.
Yeah, Blue Coon started some toads. I think in 9 instead of 6, but
There you go.
okay.
Putting down more moles at the north.
Oh, yeah. But if Haru doesn't attack soon, the turtles are going to wreck his army efforts eventually. But he's going to attack, so.
All right, Haru moving in, trying to get the flank up top. But Blue Coon's on top of this. Some good toe connections coming in. The wolf buffing up all these units, but just a big bulky tier 2 here. Is it going to be too much? Haru's still got a couple falcons left over, but Blue Coon holds, and he keeps the wolf alive. That's the most important part. Losing a few extra moles on the re-rally here, too, is a bit devastating when you get to such low army compositions here. And this counterattack from Blue Coon might just be too much. Haru knows it is, and taps out.
Yeah, I jinxed it. I didn't think Blue Coon would win. With that deck.
Mainly just off the back of squirrels for the most part, too, in the wolf.
Yeah, it's his wolf timing. It was great. He didn't get countered by Haru.
All right, Blue Coon up 2 rounds. As Mishi said, with the soft random, kind of looking for the random that looks halfway decent. On the left, we've got Blue Coon with actually a pretty proper deck. But over to the right, Haru. No pigeons to support the Badger, but I think the rest of it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think the lack of pigeons can be tough when you have Badger and you are facing skunks too. But at least he has toads, so if it gets to the late game again, he can rely on them to defend against the chameleons moles combination.
And look at this, Haru actually teching over to the skunks this time around. I guess doesn't want to get ran over by a bunch of squirrels again.
Oh yeah, skunks are very good against squirrels, but against toads. So I don't think it's going to be very easy for them. Yeah.
So this is a big open map. You know, at first glance this kind of looks amazing for Haru, but getting to these back bases is a little bit awkward. Even still, like if he can secure this area for the most part. He just gets access to so many gristmills, and this is a bit wonky here for Blue Coon. He does have this nice double high ground, which can help him defend effectively on attacks coming in, but he's really going to have to get out there a little bit and try to secure kind of this section of the map if things go later.
Yeah, I think Haru could get away with a ninja expand in the south, or rather in the right side of the map.
Yeah. So we got 8 farm doubles from both sides here.
Yeah, it's not easy to go for a fast expand on that map.
And let's see how the players want to take it from here.
Yeah, there's no very comfortable position to take right now.
Yeah.
Any player that decides to be aggressive here might put themselves in a bad position. But if they do end up getting it, then they end up being in the superior place.
Yeah, it can be really difficult to kind of sniff out where the right window is for aggression. Typically at this level of play, there has to be a reason for your attack. Like, you can't just kind of build units and walk across the map. Like, you have to have some kind of window. Like, maybe they went for more tech than you did. Maybe they tried to eco up too fast. But this barbed wire from Blue Coon kind of shows that he wants to slow things down a little bit. He's making just a small investment. Barbed wire is cheap nowadays. But he wants to get up to his double cams, maybe consider taking an expansion as well.
Yeah, I think Blue Coon wanted to take the high ground when he placed those forward warrants, but forward warrants are a bit dangerous because they're not protected by picks.
Right.
So he has to put down barbed wire to cover that, and I think it's a really good plan.
So we see double tier 2 from both sides. Blue Coon getting a little bit of a faster mill. I would be surprised if we didn't see Haru expanding fairly quickly, but actually I don't think an expansion's in the cards for him this game, because he did go up to triple tier 2 here, so maybe he's just looking for some kind of big one base attack.
Oh, look at that. Blue Coon expected Haru to take the campfire. Oh, is he going to take it?
Oh, that's hilarious. Dang.
Yeah, so smart.
Oh, just minus 60 food. Big yikes.
It has become pretty rare to see those one base games lately.
These are a lot of tier 2s on 8 farms at the moment. If a fight happens at this very moment, it's going to be a bit awkward to reinforce.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy watching so much tier 2 on one base here, and like you said, that's a really good point. You know, after the big fight happens, you really want a lot of tier 1 warrants because they reproduce units so fast. But here we go, Haru moving in with the big attack here. 4 cams, 2 skunks. The skunks go down pretty fast though. Blue Coon on top of trying to delete those, and he's trying to rely on this Falcon in the back here. But does Haru have enough to push through? Do you keep committing at this point? I think maybe you get this Falcon and run away from here.
I thought it would go very much better than this for Blue Coon because of the defender advantage, but with the molds and the Falcon kills, Haru did a lot of damage there.
Okay, nice attack there from Haru, and I like that he sells off a tier 2. He builds up a bunch of moles. He wants to try to catch Blue, trying to remake his tier 2, but Blue sold off the Falcons. He's trying to get a few units up. He's got 5 chameleons though, which is an insane amount. Let's see if Haru's numbers can really beat this here. Blue Coon coming in for the nice flank with these cams, gonna immediately target down that skunk, and that's just so many chameleons, man.
Yeah, Blue Coon has 1 now.
Yeah,
In
Haru's...
fact, he could have even just buy the race to with the 6 chameleon.
Yeah, I think unfortunately for Haru, there's not a whole lot of coming back from this. You know, especially because all those chameleons lived for Blue, so he really didn't lose like anything there. Haru doesn't have much of an economy. He's trying to desperately build some tier 1. I think this is the right play. I think if this was a normal match, he probably would have tapped by now, but you know, you gotta fight to the last breath here in the 3rd place match of the Premier League. And here comes Blue. He's not messing around. He's not gonna give Haru any breathing room. Coming in for the kill. And well played, Blue Coon, taking the series 3-1. Congratulations
All
to
random,
him.
no less.
Yeah, soft
Yeah.
random, but random,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes.
So very cool series there.
Oh,
Congratulations
it's
to
best
Blue.
of 5?
Yeah, that one was just best of 5, but
Oh,
we've got a best of 9 coming up next. So strap in. We've got a lot of games here. And between James and Mishi, I could really see this going all the way. I mean, James has always been a really consistently strong player. So is Mishi. Mishi kind of put in the hard work enough back in the day where he can kind of just show up, kind of understand the meta, and just knock players out, you know? It's like riding a bike.
oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So we're waiting for these players to hop on in. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up here. Yeah, James versus Mishi. Second place, $20. First place, $40. You get all the awesome Discord flair as well. You get the best role. You get Premier Champion 2020 role. And you even get seeded in to the next event later this year, the Super Championship, which is going to be fun. We might have an event before then as well. But that's cool. He's already thinking about organizing another series.
Yeah, there is going to be another league in fall, I think, and then there is going to be a super championship in winter where every champions are going to fight against each other.
Oh, that's
Every
awesome.
champions, yeah, from both season of the year, from all divisions.
Oh, that's cool. I like it. All right, so James and Mishi should be here shortly. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. What's been going on with you guys? How have you been doing, AV? Still working on your game?
I am, actually. A lot of work to do, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the the ending parts of it when you're finalizing.
Trying to get everything put together.
Exactly.
Can you increase my volume a little bit? I'm being told I'm not loud enough.
Was that recently? Because I've been...
Oh no, sorry. It's from 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. I've been, like, throughout that whole series, I was trying to fine-tune the volumes. I think I got it to a reasonable spot. Hopefully it's good for the viewers out there.
What's sad these days is that I'm not able to meet with my group to play some D&D.
Oh, you guys haven't been doing, like, Roll20 or something?
Nah, it's not optimal for one or two of our members.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we've done a couple sessions online. It's been fun. My campaign is still rolling. We got to, I think we're on 22 sessions now, so pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, the players are up to level 8. Last session, the Warlock, so they got ambushed by 5 Wyverns on a mountain, right? And they were getting their ass whooped, and the Warlock polymorphed the monk into a T-Rex. And it was insane. Like, now that they're level 8, you could actually do that because of the challenge rating of the monster. So, yeah, the T-Rex had like 150 HP, dealt like 10 damage or something with a bite. Like, it was crazy. He ended up eating 2 of the Wyverns. It was pretty good.
There's so many variables when you start getting up to higher levels.
Oh, it gets...
Especially when you start balancing combat.
It gets bananas. I can already see that. I'm hoping this... I'm kind of trying to wrap it up. I've never been in a D&D campaign that actually ended, you know? Like, it's always like it just kind of goes on and on until it falls apart. So I have like an ending in mind. I think we're going to get there. I think the players will probably end up around like level 12 or so by the time it's all said and done. But yeah,
Wow.
now that we're getting higher level, it's getting really... Because you got to think a little bit harder too when you design combats and stuff. You know, you don't want to just throw, tank and spank engagements at them. But here we go. Mishi and James have shown up. We bought enough time talking about Dungeons & Dragons. Will I play the Command & Conquer remaster? Probably. I was a big fan of Tiberian Sun back in the day. And the original, of course. I actually re-beat the original Command & Conquer not too long ago. I had to get emulated. No, actually, I didn't have to do that because they re-released the CNC on... Like, they fixed up the operating system so it can work on modern Windows, which was cool, and it's like released online for free. So that was awesome. I think there's a little bit of a scene, but Command and Conquer was just like the fact that you don't have to scout in that game was really, really weird. You know, like after you get vision somewhere. But here we go, guys. We're talking about tooth and tail here. Mishi versus James. CNC Generals. I never played Generals, but I hear it was good. I should go back through some of those. Let's see what these guys want to bring to the table.
Oh,
This is kind
James
of
is doing a little variation of his usual deck. He's taking Badger instead of Boar, but otherwise it's the same deck than the one he's used to. And Mishi, you can expect any kind of deck from Mishi.
yeah. He's not exactly a one-trick pony kind of guy. He experiments a lot with a variety of builds, but I think he normally likes to go with his chameleons for the most part. All right, here we go, guys. Starting the grand finals here, the finale of this big tournament. In the bottom, on his little island, we've got Mishi.
What is this, man?
And up top, we've got James. If we, okay, lag. Oh,
Yes.
oh,
No?
oh.
Oh,
All right,
Okay.
looks like the lag cleared up. This is a crazy map. What do you think of this map, AV?
Well, it's awesome that he has three potential expansions on the island behind him. So, but I guess he wouldn't want to get cooped up on the island and not be able to move off of it, because James has those balloons and he could secure the area outside the base. There's a lot of opportunity here, both players really.
This reminds me of like a single player campaign mission or something, you know, where you're like started
Right.
off in this little island down here, but your opponent's got like all these bases up top and you got to find a way to get in there and break them.
yeah. Basically, each player have 3 or 4 pocket expansion, but I think James is going to be happy because he has balloons in his deck, and he can really split the map into above the little bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to attack into balloons here if James gets a couple of them set up on his beaches, because you're going to be so slow in the water. Mishi doesn't have anything like lizards. He does have snakes and squirrels, which can deal with balloons okay if they're not defended. But getting off this low ground and off this water will be hard for Mishi. But I think what he's got going in his favor is it's going to be difficult for James to attack in too.
But theoretically, if it goes to the late game, the mill in the island is not going to be worth anything. So maybe Mishi could swim with his entire army and bypass a theoretical balloon wall in the center.
Yeah. So really interesting openings. Both players going for 8 farm tier 2. And that might be because of how wonky the map is. They're not really anticipating either side is going to open up with like 3-4 tier 1 Warren aggression. And James even trying to get an expansion out of this. So I'm curious how Mishi wants to play this out. Does he want to put on pressure and try to punish James for expanding early, or does he want to take his own expansion? And right now, he's got a couple of his units on the way here, the snake and pigeon push. Let's see if it works out for him.
Mishi has a strong preference for aggressive play. He doesn't like to take the game to late game if he can avoid it. But here, James' opening is perfectly safe. There is nothing Mishi can do to punish. Oh, a second Snake Warren also. Very surprised. Yeah. Very, very surprised by this choice.
Yeah, and good job keeping James out of his base too. Really denying him information. He does take the mill. I was curious when he was going to take that. So not crazy one base all any stuff here for Mishi.
Yeah, but 4 snake though. Why would you want 4 snakes this early in the game? Does he want to base race maybe?
Big eco commitment here for
I don't
Mishi.
know.
And he put it down right in James's face. So is James going to try to keep up? Right now he's 1 farm behind. But this is going to be hard. I mean, Mishi does have pigeons, which can help him get up these cliffs here. Balloon coming down for James as well. So James is trying to say, I want you to back off and let me eco up. But Mishi is a little bit unfazed by that. Like, he's just building a bunch of farms, you know? As long as his eco comes up, I don't think he's really going to care too much about this balloon.
When you think about it, Mishi's spot is not so bad because his extents are very difficult to scout.
Right. And yeah, I was just gonna point that area out and say you could even hide a boar there. And sure enough, he does. Like, there's no other ramp, you know, for James to come in like this way, for example, and try to scout in. He's got to go right through the main base.
I might be wrong in saying this, but if James decides to go too balloon heavy, is that actually bad for him if Mishi decides for some boar attack timing?
It might be bad for James because balloons are not that effective against boar push because often there are a lot of T1 accompanying the boar, so it's just.
I think the balloons threaten like later on, you know, like once we get up to a few more bases, if James just starts putting down crazy amounts of balloon, but he's got so much surface area here. I think if he went for that kind of route, Mishi would find some way to wiggle in and try to take the engagement away. But James going for his own tier 3 here, and I don't think Mishi got the scout.
Ooh,
No, man.
You said the second one.
Double
it's
badger.
A bad. Oh no, it's
Yeah.
even with one badger, it's a bad timing because it's so late after the ball.
Well, he doesn't know about the boar, unfortunately, which is a shame because he could really use another an extra set of snakes here to deal with that. Mishi gonna scout right in. Sea Badger number 1, Sea Badger number 2. Great job by Mishi coming in kind of the back way that time around to make sure he got a good understanding of what buildings James had there.
I'm so puzzled by the badger decision because he already seen 4 snakes and he has no pigeons in this deck, so... Why, James? Why?
Yeah, James has so much money wrapped up in those badgers.
Oh, what a good scout.
About
Okay.
720 food in the badgers right now, though. If Mishi makes it happen, this could be devastating.
Line is so slow for Mishi because he has to swim across all the water.
Yeah, that is a
Maybe he can-
really good point.
Can defend maybe, yeah.
Here we go. One cam already going down. James gonna try to crush in. Wants some of these toads to connect with those big tier 2 units. And Mishi's army actually is starting to fall apart. This badger is coming up. There's only one snake remaining here for Mishi. Oh, and some of the rallying from from Mishi's reinforcements are actually walking the wrong path and just getting taken down by that balloon.
That badger was so ineffective.
Yeah, the badger going down pretty immediately, but look how much James still has left. Oh my god. The double badger worked, Jet. Oh, is it gonna live? No, not anymore. He got a little too bold with it. Mishi was able to get the second snake tag, but James took this fight very nicely. He's got a bunch of units coming up. The split up reinforcement from Mishi was really unfortunate there.
This is such an hilarious game because Mishi is still ahead in economy and it's not like James can just push in.
That's true. Yeah, Mishi's already got his third base halfway saturated here, so even though James probably got the better deal out of that trade, Mishi still just got the raw numbers, and he's got another boar cooking here. They're gonna try to probably maybe turtle up a little bit, get up to that double cam, double snake boar composition, sprinkle on some squirrels, and try to push out again. Full saturation on the third. This is a really big deal. James needs to get his economy up and running.
I was going to ask the score because I can't believe it's only the first game.
Yeah, it's still 0-0 here. I actually had to check that a second ago myself. But man, I can't believe Mishi is still in this. You know, really the better economy there. And getting that second badger, I think that was really important because James could have saved it, but he kind of he bobbed when he should have weaved, you know, and he went in a little bit extra.
Maybe on the strike, on the left.
Oh, Mishi coming in. James gets to sell on one of the farms, but one of them goes down. Good response time there from James. That could have been devastating.
Yeah, absolutely.
How important is the badger here in this case?
Not
Is
important
additional
at all.
tier 2 just better?
Yeah, he doesn't have pigeons, and with all the snakes here from Mishi, this badger might be an easy target. And he's going to try to harass with it, but
Oh, that's nice. Nice play. Maybe the badger is not
already revved up, though. If he can keep this rev, no, he's just going to take the Warrens and go home.
The badger paid for himself.
Yeah. Mishi already working on his 4th base, but I don't think he's really going to have access to... Well, whoever takes this area over to the right is going to get both those mills, you know. If Mishi can somehow take that from James, that'd be huge. But I think if the game goes longer, you know, James having access to that additional mill might help him seal it out, especially if you put some balloons over there, starts harassing that 4th base from Mishi.
Yeah, but Mishi really has an attacking mindset. He really likes to attack, and I think this map is going to hurt him because of that. Because the one who has to attack has to walk through an enormous amount of water.
Okay, we're at a bit of a standstill here. Good play from Mishi, just trying to stay active on the map, trying to poke in with these cams wherever he can. And I wonder if this is going to trigger an attack from James. Actually, James is going to move out anyway, so Mishi is going to bring these cams back, but one actually stays.
Yeah.
I think it was lucky, but a very good play nonetheless. And Mishi is moving in now, trying to defend this attack coming in from James. There's so many chameleons here. Poor Mishi. This Badger's poisoned. Oh, James thinking about tapping out, and he does.
What? Why?
Mishi takes match number 1. I guess
I thought James still had a shot at this.
Yeah, I guess he thought maybe he took too much damage there.
I don't know. Yeah, he definitely took a lot of damage, but when you consider the reinforcement time, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe James could have played it out, but maybe he just wants to save his energy. You know, this is a long series. You don't want to get...
Maybe he's a gentleman. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Match number 2 here. After a pretty crazy game number 1. Down here in the bottom, we've got James. And up top, Mishi. This map is looking a little bit more standard here, AV. Lots of gristmills everywhere. Not too bad of a rush distance either.
So, both players scooted the future Ninja Expand from Mishi.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to want to play this out. I think rushing might be an option here. It's interesting, this shorter rush distance here, if you try to go directly through, is kind of clumped up by some water, by some trees. These kinds of things can make it a little bit wonky. Actually, both players have that little bit of water on their low ground, which can make attacking in a little bit more difficult, but there's so many angles. You know, you can go behind Mishi's main here, behind that tree line, sneak right into the back. Oh, and Mishi's selling off some farms, I think in response to James, though. James showing the aggression here with the 6-farm double, and Mishi responding in suit, but with both players with very dangerous Warren positioning here.
Yeah. Very strange. Usually one of them would do forward warrens, and the other would build his warrens in front of the pigs for a defensive placement.
Yeah, Mishi kind of calling James out.
Yeah, very dangerous to have the warrens so far forward. Because as soon as you go behind in scroll number, you just die because you lose the warren on top of that.
Oh no.
Wow, I thought Mishi would take that, but some good target fire from James. Cleaning this up, and I think this is even more deadly with the modern moles, right? Like, if one of these players had moles here, wouldn't that be, like, crazy?
Oh yeah, moles or lizards. They would thrive to punish those early forward warren placements. Oh, Toads this early? I don't think it's a good play.
All right, James.
Oh, she's not...
James moving in, trying to get something done here, but Mishi with the clutch defense saves the Warren, is gonna take a bunch of squirrels on the retreat as well. These Toads, you know, if they ram into the Warrens, that can be huge. Ideally, you probably want to get the main hit on the Warren and then the AoE on the squirrels around it. But Lizard's coming out from Mishi, so these Toads could help against that too.
Whoa.
Yeah, James taking a very good engagement here. That extra crit damage from the Toads starting to knock these Warrens down, and now he's got the tempo, he's got the momentum. Mishi probably not going to be able to re-rally at this point. He's going to have to tap out, and James ties the series up 1-1 with a very quick, aggressive game there.
Yeah, there is no coming back with early forward warren placement once you start losing.
That was insane.
Yeah, I didn't think the third would be that good, but killing one warren is already such a big advantage.
Okay, let's see what the players want to bring about this time around. James teching in that owl, but Mishi following suit. No, you're gonna go for Badger.
Badger, oh. I'm sad for James. Very sad. Not a lot of players are playing Owls in the Premier League. And Owl is a very strong pick against anything but the Badger.
On the left, we've got Mishi, and on the right, James. Okay, this time around, I kind of like this for James. You know, he's got the 3 bases right there. He's got this double high ground that should be nice and defendable. And he can maybe even transition to this 4th in the south. Mishi, it's not bad either. He's got this kind of pocket expand. Might be difficult to figure out exactly how many farms are on that base. It's going to be really easy to defend. I think he can take this 3rd relatively easily. So, not the end of the world, but I think I do like this slightly better for James just because he's mainly got that high ground advantage, you know?
Yeah, I like the map better for James, but I don't think it's going to be a decisive factor. Oh, he's going to rush again? James is going to make some play. Null play, perhaps.
Let's see if he does it. There's mole number 1. Now, these moles really need to hit the building pigs more so than just the pigs in general.
Do you think he can just rush for the mill if he has enough moves?
He's going to force the sell, and I think that's about all he's going to get out of this. Ooh,
not
utilizing the
good.
water to heal.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, but James is on 6 farm during all this time.
He's going to deny that Warren, but he's going to lose a mole, but he's really doubling down on this. Yeah, 6 farms, as you point out, and Mishi has so many Warrens coming. This is going to be devastating. Like, the counterattack is going to be very real. Eventually, James is going to have to sell these moles and go home.
That's so bad.
Oh, barely gets a pig, but for how many moles?
Yeah, and he was on 6 farm during all these times.
This is what I'm worried about. This counterattack from Mishi is very real.
I really like the idea, especially with the water nearby. But...
Yeah. Yeah, the cabin softens up one of those squirrels.
Oh, no, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's... Oh, no, yeah, even the reinforcements.
Oh my god, James, saved by the cabin! Where's Jed Erickson? He'd be losing it right now.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. That's probably the most clutch cabin I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous.
Without the cabin, James was so dead.
Yeah.
In the game, thanks to that.
Like, that cabin probably killed, what, 2? It killed 2 squirrels at least, maybe a 3rd, and it softened up another one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. I can't believe James is still alive.
I'd like to think James planned this. Like, he tried to trigger the counter push with moles, knowing that the cabin intercepts any counter attack.
Oh, yeah. So the 200 IQ plays. I think
I'd like to think that it was
I have that issue a lot. I'll give players too much credit. I'll be like, oh, they did this because of that, and they're like, no, actually, I just kind of got lucky. Ooh, triggering that.
Nice little, yeah. He knows what he's doing. He saw the mine and he's sweeping it for free. Good play for James.
Yeah, I love doing that kind of thing. It can be a little risky if there's a couple mines in one
Oh,
spot.
Mishi's doing risky sell. Mishi. If James attacks now, Mishi's in deep trouble.
Yeah, Mishi trying to be greedy here. Go up on a whole bunch of farms. James is coming in with the big mole attack. These moles, once they get up on those warrens, they take them out so fast. Both snakes are poisoned here. Mishi is going to be able to defend, but I'm really worried about the follow-up attack if James chooses to do it, because Mishi just lost all of his tier 1 production.
You're completely right. If James is smart, he's going to double down on the push because he cut down the production capacity of Mishi. And it's like what he's going to do.
Like, Mishi's got nothing here. He's got a single snake and a couple pigeons to back it up. He's desperately trying to build some squirrel warrens, but Mishi tried to be next level, and I like what he did on paper, but it was very, very risky. James sniffed it out and punished him for it.
Very well played from James to sniff it out and then to not sit down after the first push. To just keep the pressure because he kills the Warrens.
Dude, that cabin. Oh man, that cabin. I'm still not over that.
Yeah, I didn't think James would win after the initial.
Yeah, that mole rush went really bad for him. Mishi responded so well. Barely took any damage. Mishi actually came out ahead in that.
Yeah.
And then the tempo swing, having to sell all that stuff and go back home. But here we go, guys. Game number 4. On the right, up a couple maps. Off the back of some good aggression, we've got James. Up in the top left, maybe really doubling down this game, we've got Mishi. He's got what I feel like is one of his better decks here, or something that he's most used to playing. Mishi really likes his snakes. That's kind of his trademark. I think he's one of those players that would try to make the snake work regardless of how strong it was in the meta. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are just like that with
Mishi
units.
Mishi is a very micro-intensive guy, so he likes snake solos.
And we've seen him have some great success with Wolf play in this tournament. I think Wolf is probably one of the better ending, like late game finishers in modern Tooth and Tail. We're right now, chameleons are so powerful, making them even stronger with the Wolf is just absolutely crazy. But I think James is going back to his roots a little bit here as well. He won the previous tournaments off the back of some good board balloon pushes, and James has definitely got the best board timing in the business, right? So maybe he can find a spot where Mishi is being a little bit too greedy and capitalize.
Both players are running their main deck basically, or at least the decks they use the most in the Premier League so far.
Yeah. And we have kind of greedy openings too, going straight for that first mill. As we've discussed offline before, these openings are pretty safe, but now James is being greedy. Look at this!
They can be greedy.
Oh my! That's as greedy as you can get, man.
Yeah, but there is a cabin. So
Yeah, that's true. That cabin last game, man.
Oh, the little
Look at little one tile.
Yeah.
He's got to feel confident. Oh my god! Oh my god, Mishi! Somebody give this squirrel a medal. Oh my god! All right.
Can the camp time?
It's not gonna make it.
Is all he's going to have because
He's gonna have to sell it.
Going to be... No. Oh yes, he has.
$4
But he cannot do anything more.
Mishi's like, hey, I'll take 116 food for free.
Yeah.
Wow, Mishi. Yeah, man, that was very greedy from James, and good job from Mishi sniffing it out and responding correctly there. Just a couple squirrels.
I don't think it was that greedy. I think it was more a matter of James didn't see there was another entrance.
Oh, I see what you're thinking. James did that because of the cabin.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, 8 farm into mill into 2 farms tier 2. I mean that is crazy greed. But speaking of greed, we've got Mishi really completely saturating that second, which I think is going to work out for him because James is kind of huddled up with this balloon here.
Yeah, the balloon is not the wisest investment at this stage of the game.
Yeah, he's probably safe to sell it considering Mishi just went 8 farms. It's unlikely that there'll be any type of aggression.
Yeah, like what does James do if Mishi just saturates his herd?
Yeah, and Mishi's not screwing around either. He's saying, hey man, if you want to turtle up, that's fine. I'll go ahead and even take a 3rd base at this point. And Mishi's economy is just going to get through the roof. I mean, 16 farms already. Yeah, there's the wolf. He's not messing around. He's even going to throw some more farms here. So this is actually, so far the series has been really interesting. Like, game 1 was kind of the story of a really weird map and the players kind of trying to navigate it. Games 2 and 3 were just some in-your-face aggression. And now this is like crazy macro, Already up to 20 farms before 4 minutes here with the wolf on the way.
Yeah, it's a random map generator. Like sometimes it's going to give you a map where you can be very, very aggressive in economy, and sometimes you just have to all in one base.
And James coming in with a big hit here. Maybe trying to punish Mishi for being too greedy, but doesn't have enough. You know, James has been building up, you know, quite a lot on his economy himself, and that is a really good point. That's one thing that's so important with Tooth and Tail is you really got to play the map. You know, with the random maps here, the best players are able to kind of dissect the map quickly and respond accordingly. But here we go, another big push coming in from James, and this one's actually going to deal some damage.
The one thing James has gone for him is that he has a lot of T1 and therefore a lot of faster reproduction after the fight. But other than that, Mishi's position is way stronger in this game.
The Wolf is almost here. James cracking in. If he can get this second base, another snake drops. Mishi gonna try to defend. Ward him off for now, but James with just all the tier 1. So many units being rebuilt so fast, but now Mishi's got that Wolf. Ooh, keeps that cam alive, just barely. Alright, this is an important engagement. James really wants to get this Wolf down. It's down to 16 HP, but Mishi's able to pull it back in time.
So many scrolls from James. Oh, Wolf that comes. Look at this. Look at this.
Dude, Wolf Buff Cam is nuts. One of them falls, but the other one-man army there, basically.
It's a Dynasty Warrior cam.
And Mishi's just going to park this Wolf over at the third, while kind of taking a look if James is going to attack again or not.
James had a lot of tempo because of his T1 based army, but now he's going to exhaust himself over time because of Mishi's superior economy.
Alright, James pushing forward. These Toads here might be able to get some good value on the buildings. Let's see. Yeah, one Warren falls, but that's not enough damage. That's a lot of tier 1, but no, Mishi's gonna be able to pull it through, and James is gonna tap, tying the series up 2-2.
Nothing he could have done.
So what do you think went wrong for that game for James, Jen? Do you think it was just a bad time to try to attack in, or?
I think he came out too far behind from the early game when he started to tussle with the balloon, and Mishi just was too much ahead in economy at this point.
Right.
He had like one more chance to make something work with a T1 all-in before the Wolf was up, but after that it was over. I don't think he could have come back in any way.
Alright guys, hopping into match number 5. This is a best of 9, and so far we're tied up neck and neck in the bottom. Taking Owl Skunk this game, we've got Mishi and James still rocking the patented board deck here up in the top.
Oh.
What's your first impression of this one, Ultima?
Mishi had a sort of a bad scout angle there. He went straight into the water. And he has yet to see where James is. That I think he probably knows at this point.
These maps are hilarious today.
I don't know if it's as bad as that last one though,
Yeah.
or the 2 ones ago.
Yeah, this is kind of neat. James has got some waterfront property up here in the top, and I wonder if Mishi pulls like the double bluff later on. Like I like doing, like, you kind of feel safe, you know, with all this water around, but imagine Mishi took the lizards up through the water anyways, you know what I'm saying? Because you kind of get the false sense of security. Like, he does have an angle to do that. But overall, I like this better for James as long as he comes up here and secures this whole area.
Yeah, but he's not going to secure it. I think James has already lost, because Mishi is going to build lizards and punish the fast expand from James. The mid is too far away from his pigs and his main to properly defend. Okay, no, he's going for with a snake. But still.
Yeah, he's going for that 8-farm tier 2 opener again, and this map is kind of large and wonky enough where he can probably get away with that. Lucky for him, though, James did go for the fast expand, so not like a bunch of squirrels and moles are going to come knocking on his door anytime soon. So, yeah, Mishi going for a harassing composition so far with the lizard snake. And maybe he can do some cool double attack kind of things, like rally the lizards through the water into the main while you're poking the natural with the snake or something, you know?
I think he's... Yeah, Mishi is smart. He cannot punish that with a snake. But if he had gone for a mass lizard, I think he could have been able to wipe out all the Warren very early on.
Yeah, what's interesting too is all this high ground area actually has road from James. So chasing down something like a snake would be a lot easier with these squirrels.
Yeah.
If you tried to get in too far. So Mishi for now is just gonna get his own second base squared away. He hasn't really committed either way just yet. I think he's gonna come in and scout, see what's up, and make a decision from there.
And now that James is securing his natural expansion, I think it's not looking good for Mishi this map. Not looking good at all.
Yeah, so far James is in a good spot this game. He's got a couple farms of a lead. Yeah, Mishi's got the tech advantage at this point, but James can start throwing down his tier 2 soon. I actually like this a lot from James, like expanding with nothing but tier 1. It feels really safe.
Oh yeah, he had no choice. But imagine if Mishi had just done mass lizards with no expansion, I think he could have just rolled over the forward warrens.
James is going to go for it here. These toads going to connect with the lizards, but he actually keeps a couple of them alive to slam into the warrens. That was some pretty good micro. But James decides to retreat, and Mishi's going to get a lot of free squirrels on the back of that.
Oh, Snake Skunk from Mishi. Snake Skunk is so good in defense. And very good against toads too.
I like the fact that he's being aggressive, but as you were saying, gentlemen, do you think James should have just stayed in his defensive position and just kept the units that he had, or do you think that was a good move to take out those 1 or 2 warrens that he just did?
If I had been James, I would have played this in a lot more passive and defensive way, because the map is with James, and Mishi is going to come at you eventually, no matter what you do. So you don't need to attack Mishi.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, when you've got the map advantage, a lot of times it's better to just play really safe and try to macro and force your opponent to eventually figure out a timing to get you. Otherwise, you're going to split the map in the late game a lot better.
James could take the mid on the right, semi-ninja expansion, and they would be pretty safe. Or he could just set up a balloon wall in front of the high ground.
Good scout by Mishi, but again, like, I'm not sold on these balloons from James, to be honest. Like, he came in, he knows Mishi's got a better economy than him. He hasn't seen that Mishi's gonna go straight, fully saturated there, but if I come in and I scout this from Mishi, I see all this tier 2, I see the fully saturated second base. Oh, this mine's gonna alert him to the cams coming in. The cams still get a little value.
In an interview, we definitely have to ask him why he's picking balloon every game, because I think so far balloons play from James has been kind of a weakness from him. I saw him lose games because of his balloons timing.
Yeah,
but he still insists of running balloons every game.
Like that balloon could have been 2 farms, earlier on. And Mishi is now going to get this tier 3 scout. He's done a good job of scouting all game long. He has continued to run into the main and look for things over there.
Very good job.
But now Mishi's got his owl on the way. I think the boar does just fine against the owl, though. Roasting up all those mice. Let's see.
Oh, wait. I'm just realizing now that Mishi is running my deck, actually. And yes, this is a very, very good deck, but not a deck you want to use too offensive. You want to hide with a minefield and wait for the late game to kick in with all the heroes. So it's a really bad map for this deck.
Picking up that skunk on the way out. Mishi does not want to wait around for the boar. He tried to come in. Both players took a few even in trades here, but here we go, AV. This boar is pushing out. Do you think it's going to work?
Given the position of Mishi, it's hard to say. If he keeps it, then he's fine.
So many lizards here. The snake gonna get a couple tags, but is gonna go down. That was the only snake from Mishi at the moment. Another snake popping out here shortly. No, he does have 1 left in his army, but James just gonna take that base back up, let this boar heal. I think he's got to be careful to not let his boar get too far forward and get the snake hits on it, and he's probably okay. Let's see, another big attack coming in. Mishi really trying to get that poison on the boar. It does get 1 stack of poison, but that'll be fine. The boar's got enough HP to deal with that. And this owl is here now. Mishi is fighting back here.
Oh yeah.
How effective is the boar against Squizzard when compared to just pure Squirrel, because it seems like there's a very good tank composition here where the board doesn't take them down nearly as quickly as he could.
The good thing with melee units, it can surround the board, so they won't take the full AoE
Good
damage.
point.
Yeah, and you can flank with them or something too, you know, have them on a different side to where the torch doesn't hit all of them. But this army for Mishi is looking pretty good. James gonna come in, and this time around he might just have to go for the board bomb. But Mishi's on the retreat. All that poison to the board is gonna go down. James doesn't have very much left at all, and Mishi is gonna push back.
I'm quite glad to see Mishi in a winning position with this deck. I like Halls a lot.
It's a solid composition. Like, the Snake Skunk is really cool. It's always a little bit rough to not have chameleons, but I think you don't need them with this comp. Like, I like the
Yeah, you
AoE
can-
single target. The lizards are always a nice touch. Another
And you
big
can
fight
manage-
here.
Yeah, look, he's just kiting the chameleon with the snakes. And if he needed to, he could have some mines too to deal with.
Yeah, the cams have gone down. James did commit to another boar, but again, Mishi, I feel like this entire series, Mishi's just been one step ahead on the economy. You know, he's got that third base up, and that's really what's riding for this match so well for him. You know, James really has to get his own third up or deny that, and he's got this other board, but again, with the snakes here, it's gonna be rough. Coming in for a big engagement.
Oh, onto the hole. Okay.
Boar goes down immediately, and James is gonna tap. Mishi, another victory here, another point on the board.
Very nice play from Mishi to win after James had secured the high ground.
Yeah, I think James just needs to commit to the macro a little bit better, you know? I think his...
Yeah, it seems like he's... I'm sorry, continue.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It seems like he's, we said this earlier, committing to this aggressive play when he has this sort of defensive opportunity, and each aggressive attack just simply did very little to nothing.
Yeah, in these balloons, you know, that should have been farms. It's rough. That's one thing I like about turrets, is that they build so fast, you can kind of build them in the clutch. But in the bottom left here, we've got James, and up in the top right, Mishi, going back from the Gent deck to the Mishi deck here. But I think that the Gentleman deck did work great for him last game. That's a really cool composition. You know, the Snake, Skunk complement each other very nicely, and the Owl is always a great finisher, 9 times out of 10. And it's like, what's the weakness there? They have a Badger? Well, you got the Snakes.
Yeah,
you know?
Badger.
But you have the Snakes to deal with that, so...
Yeah, it's true, but it means that you cannot really use the mice will provide a free rev for the Badger.
Ooh,
So-
hang on, did James get away with that? Okay, no, Mishi knew.
Yeah, I saw it.
He didn't actually see it, but he saw a missing farm, and yeah.
He's probably expecting more or something.
Right. Again, and he's actually going to commit up to the 5-farm double here. Meanwhile,
He's
James
going
is
to
going to
attack.
saturate up, so... Huh. Mishi might be in a spot where he's got a few squirrels of a lead, and if there's one player who knows how to capitalize on that, it's certainly Mishi.
Okay.
Oh, but he might get caught here. This is actually really important.
Yeah. Mishi did not know about the squirrels.
The extra road...
Is he going to farm up? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point you want to get up to the 8
Yeah, I
farms,
think it's
get them building before you attack in. But I mean, it's still only one
No,
Warren
no.
versus 2 here.
Mishi can definitely attack.
Yeah,
This is a
so
dangerous
Warren-
situation because
not-
there's no Warrens defending the pigs, yeah?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
he's going to be. So
Or he
much
just
for
goes straight
James.
for the Warren.
Yeah, James can't contest this. He's gonna try, but he can't take this fight. Gonna lose a couple squirrels already, and Mishi still has all of his squirrels up. One Warren goes down, another Warren is gonna go down. He gets a squirrel out of it, but it's gonna die. Oh my gosh, Mishi. Mishi just needs he's gonna get this pig and probably back out. Damn, really good aggression here from Mishi. And if he keeps this
he's
pressure
still
on...
No, he should have left. He should have left.
Yeah, I think he
The
needed to
two
wait
were
till...
injured.
Yeah, I think he needed to wait to meet up with those other two squirrels, but now that he lost those, James has got some room here. That could have been really deadly if Mishi backed up, got those other two, and then attacked back in with 4, you know?
Yeah. So Mishi came out like 80 foot ahead from all this. It's not over yet for James, but he's already behind.
Yeah, the Toads here on defense, a little bit of an interesting decision. They are going to get some connections,
whoa,
though.
whoa.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very interesting choice, yes, because usually Toads are very bad in defense and low numbers. But they worked splendidly for James here.
Yeah, you got the dream connections there. 2 Toads deleting like 5 squirrels. All right, let's see what the follow-up is here. Both players trying to get into some cams. There's that balloon.
Balloon.
Every game,
Always
man.
a balloon. Always. He has no meal. He has no meal up. What if Mishi is just throwing down pigs? He cannot do anything against. What's the plan, James? Tell us.
And he's still not even taking the fight underneath the balloon.
Okay.
You know, Mishi's just avoiding it. Okay, 1 squirrel does go down to it, but he needs 5 more to pay for that
makes
balloon.
sense. He wants the proximity. But I don't think it's such a good idea against a snake player like Mishi to have the mid in a close position like that.
Right. Nice little harassment there. I like this idea from Mishi to just pivot to the safer base over to the side. But I'm a
yeah.
little bit skeptical. Well, I mean, James did build 2 farms.
Aww. Yeah, I think James overestimated
Damn.
his army strength and didn't think they would become.
Yeah, both those cams barely living for Mishi too. That is rough for James. I thought for sure one of them went down to the Toads, but now Mishi's in a really good spot. He is slightly behind on farm timings, but he's got the same number.
James doesn't have a lot of information on what Mishi is doing. Oh, and here comes the ball. The second base half saturation ball.
Yeah, and Mishi can't get in to scout that just quite yet. He's gonna try again, but James is in a good position.
Mishi is taking an economic lead, which is what you want, I guess, at tier 3. But he hasn't spotted it yet, so maybe the ball can work out. I don't know. The balloon makes it hard to scoot.
Yeah, even if he wanted to attack with the boar, there's a lot of buildings and units in the way before he even gets to anything important.
Right.
So, and it's a blind block, so it's going to get even slower.
Good scout here from Mishi. He's finally gonna see this boar warren. But it is quite
Very
late.
important.
He's got snakes on the way, though. And like you were saying, AV, you know, even when the boar crashes in, you know, the boar gets this mill, that's just delaying the game, you know. Mishi doesn't really care about that mill very much.
But I think boar is pretty good against Mishi's deck.
Yeah.
Because you can just kamikaze your boar into the T1 and the chameleons with the boar bomb. It's going to be super effective.
Alright. Snake harassment already starting, grabbing a pig for free. James really wants to wait until his boar is here to hard commit.
Yeah. The snakes make it hard for James to wait.
Alright, here comes the big daddy boar. James gonna have to take this fight. He can't just sit here and die to snake venom. Moving in all these toads, trying to help out with the extra AoE damage. The snakes going down very quickly for Mishi. No snake alive here to help deal with this boar. Now a new snake shows up, only gets 1 stack of poison though. This is looking good for James.
What a massacre.
But again,
it's
Mishi's
over.
got that economic lead.
That's true, but Mishi lost a ton of units.
Yeah, they're all tier 2, so they're slower to rebuild. I think James is just waiting on a couple more toads, and he's going to come push back in.
So many toads too.
But he really can't get to the sweet underbelly of Mishi's base. You know, the second farming mill, as AV pointed out. He's got to just ram into the front. Unless he tries to sneak his way through this jigsaw of map doodads here, this little camp going on. But no, he's gonna go right through the front. So many snakes are here now, though. I think that's
So,
making James think about
James
it.
never scooted. James never scooted the expansion for Mishi, so that might be why he's not attacking now.
Yeah, he just lacks information. He's not sure what he's going into right now. He doesn't know how many farms Mishi has. I feel like he did have a moment there where he could have... Yeah, even now. I mean, he has an opportunity here.
Look at these chameleons set up to flank.
No,
Over the
James is
side.
sort of sitting back, getting 2 balloons up at this point.
Yeah, this is not what he needs to do. He's got the third base coming, but Mishi has chameleons just waiting to backstab something like this. He's gonna scout the third, but you're right. Like James hasn't been back to scout Mishi's main in such a long time. James anticipating the chameleons here.
Yeah, James is the one who popularized this kind of chameleons flank attacks. So I think he knows when a flank attack is coming.
I think the window that James had is kind of come and gone, right? Like he probably could have pushed in and got something done, but now that there's 4 snakes there, they're just gonna poison that boar down so quickly.
Yeah, but I'm still kind of confident for James because in the late game, if he has enough scrolls, the boar and the toad can just suicide themselves into the chameleons, and then the scroll will do the rest.
Yeah, that's true. And especially because Mishi's building up to so many chameleons here. You know, if James gets some really good toe connections on that big clump of tier 2 units, that could be very devastating. But here comes Mishi's tier 3, and James is finally going to come in and scout. Still didn't see that second base, but he's got to know it's there. He's got to know
Is 6
Mishi's got
tones
money.
enough for this amount of tier 2?
No, I would go to 9 at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mishi is good with the micro. Maybe he could avoid the boar bomb with his chameleons, and that could be a problem.
All right, James trying to do his own little chameleon shenaniganery here. Meanwhile, Mishi's moving his chameleons through the base of James, looking for a target. But again, James is on top of this.
Yeah, it's James' specialty, so it's not going to lose to chameleon harassment.
All right, we're getting into a big macro game from here. And Mishi, once he gets that wolf, you know, we've seen already today how powerful chameleons buffed by that wolf can really be.
Oh, James is selling the toads. No, why, James? James, you need more toads than this. Toads scale so well against chameleons.
Yeah, and there's just so many chameleons coming too. 12 of them on the way for Mishi.
Mishi can win now. James sold too many toads. Falcons are not that useful.
Yeah, let's see. Mishi's taking it slow. Both players just trying to get that third base saturation up. We kind of dragged into an interesting spot this game. It looked like for a minute there, you can see on the army graph value when James really pulled ahead with an advantage, but he's kind of left Mishi alone long enough to where the game is stabilized at this point, and it's really up in the air for either player, I feel like. Oh my god, all these mines! Oh, alright, he knows about them.
Okay, yeah. No!
He did lose 1 cam,
Okay.
but he got 4 mines, so...
Yeah, I hope James doesn't end up reaching not taking Mishi when you had the chance to finish him off.
Look at this army from Mishi. 12 chameleons.
Chameleons is so much.
The
That's
boar bomb is the only thing
ridiculous.
that can James.
Here we go. You're having to go through this choke, though, with the flamethrower. This boar getting damage on all of his units. Somehow, James pulls it back.
Going to die.
The boar was poisoned. But man, that choke point that Mishi tried to run through with the balloon there, oh my gosh, that AoE damage was crazy. But imagine if he had his toads, gentlemen. It would have been even better.
Yeah, absolutely. James needs to sell falcons. Whoa, what a good position. Yeah, Mishi cannot attack into that. The balloon is so good here.
Yeah, and he's got no high ground vision either.
Wolf buff is not going to make a difference. And no high ground vision, like you said. Such a pain for Mishi.
Mishi's gonna try to get in again. A lot of chameleons committing here, but I think James should be alright. Actually, the Chameleons really clean up everything on the ground for James. He's only really got this Falcon and these balloons left.
Why is Mishi leaving? Don't leave Mishi.
Mishi is trading, but I don't know if it's the most effective way to trade.
I think
He
James.
doesn't have many units to shoot up.
This is the one game where James Balloon finally paid.
Yeah, right? Oh my god, it only took 6 tries, but the balloons have been crazy valuable here. It really just this one, like, it's so awkward to try to get up there because the ramp is on the other side. I wouldn't even hate to see 2 balloons on that.
Yeah, me too. And without the balloon, Mishi would have just pushed in with the Chameleons.
Nice snipe on that pig there. Every little bit counts. Oh my gosh, we might turn this game, we might farm out this map completely. This is gonna be nuts. I'd be careful if I was James trying to do cheeky boar poke things with so many snakes around.
Yeah. Wolf buffed snakes soon.
Yeah, Mishi did commit to another wolf. It's almost on the way, almost out here. And how do you crack this jigsaw puzzle as Mishi? Do you just kind of give up on attacking in this way and try to attack from a different angle? But this is such an important spot because this is where James can set up another base. This is where James can stage favorable attacks on Mishi's juicy. Yeah, and that's what Mishi was thinking. He's like, all right, screw attacking him from there. I'm going to come in from another side.
And it's not going to be a problem for his reinforcement because all the Warrens are in the north.
That's true.
That's where he should have been attacking all along.
But 2 balloons here. If he can defend these could help add some extra DPS on the back. But this is a much better spot for Mishi to try to come in on.
I don't know. James has so much more army.
Already losing a snake too, the double balloon shots.
Here's the thing: do you see Mishi in a position where he needs to be aggressive here?
That's a good point.
James have the superior late game if they were to go to more defensive macro here?
Yeah, but that's an existential question for Mishi. Mishi doesn't need to be aggressive, but he wants to.
Yeah,
It is Mishi.
I think that's a really good point, AV. You know, Mishi doesn't have to be as aggressive as he is. He can just kind of hang out and build up. And I think the Wolf Cam Snake will scale fine. Like, Chameleon Falcon's great, but that you can't underestimate that Wolf buff. And James gonna try to be sneaky with his cams, maybe? No, at this point, it is super risky to continue to try to do cam flanks, because then you can get caught with your pants down, you know, if they attack in while your cams are halfway across the map. Alright, James thinks he's got enough. Oh, alright, maybe he's just baiting me. Here come the fast chameleons.
So fast.
But James could just counter push. All the cams are not here for Mishi. And this wolf is going to get targeted down on the front line. That's what I was worried about. Like, yeah, Mishi got some damage in. But
James could see the chameleon because of the buff, even though the chameleons are supposed to be invisible.
Right, because the water. Or just the...
No, yeah, because of the wolf buff, there is a light...
oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Man, I think James has got it. That's a lot of chameleons.
Yeah, the chameleons are... still, it doesn't have many units to shoot up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just got the anti-caster curse. I was just talking about how moving your cams could put you so out of position, and then Mishi did it immediately and got really punished for it.
Mishi should have known that the chameleon buffed by the wolf would be visible for James.
Man, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I discovered that against Mishi, actually, of all people.
Oh, so then he should know if you guys talked about it. But I think that is something pretty...
2 years ago, it was in 2018. TNT. I was playing against him and he did a wolf buffed chameleon snipe, and I could see the glow. So
that's interesting. I did not know that.
Jeez, could James not have potentially finished Mishi there? Did he not have enough?
I
don't know because he had Falcons.
I think he just wants to wait on another board because he knows Mishi is kind of has to resort to tier 1 at this point.
Oh my gosh.
That shot point is such a slaughterhouse. It's game over now.
Yeah, that should be it. Mishi should be tapping out, and James gonna tie things up 3-3. This is a hell of a series we got here.
Yeah. 16 minutes. This is going to be the
That's
longest finals.
That's like 2 years
their
in Tooth
story.
and Tail time. 16-minute game.
I think this finals is going to have the record of.
Oh, this is a ton of fun. I'm glad you guys could join me for it. Thanks again, everybody who's tuning in. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. This event has been a ton of fun for a lot of us. Big shout out to everybody who's participated in this event. Whether you're a player or you just kind of tune into the games, streamers, casters. I mean, there's been a lot of people involved. So I love it, man. I think this was really successful. And who could ask for a better finals than this? You know, we're tied up 3-3 in a best of 9 here. And what do you think, Ultima? If you were in one of these players' shoes, would you want to select like your best deck here, or maybe you try to sneak something out like a Fox or something crazy? Like, what's the plan?
It seems like, given what we've seen about James and him placing those balloons, as Gentleman has said, Mishi likes being aggressive. So these balloons, especially in these cases where there's 2 choke points, really works out well for him. So I think Mishi is not really about the deck, but more about his actual game plan or his mindset going into these.
Yeah, that's
Maybe work towards being a bit more macro heavy, because if Mishi is, I think, considering the predictions, the better player, let James potentially make the mistake, you know?
Absolutely. That's a really good observation. If James can...
Oh, what?
Look at this map. In the bottom, we've got Mishi rocking double tier 3. Up top, we've got James.
Oh my god. Mishi has such a good advantage with the decks on the map. I don't see how James could win this except with some kind of squirrel rush or something like that.
Maybe if James is aggressive, you know, I think he's got a nice early game with like Squirrel Maul Snake.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because Mishi
Yes.
just has Squirrel Cam.
Yeah. If James tries to go for the late game, he's never going to win. Especially not against Wolf buffed Badger.
But that's a cool observation though, AV. Like, I wonder if James has kind of realized that and is going to try to capitalize on just Mishi being really aggressive. And James trying to get some mole harassment going there, but can't find a building farm that's exposed. Good job by Mishi thwarting that off. And we're just going to kind of go into a regular game from here. 6 farm Warren from James. Maybe Mishi sells a farm. Maybe he just kind of builds a Warren. I imagine it's safer to sell a farm. But I think he'd be okay just building a Warren anyways. And yeah, look at that. James just trying to go for some mind games there. So we're back to 8 farm openings.
This is such an unfair map for James.
Yeah, this is a rough roll of the dice. And you know, you gotta play the cards you're given, unfortunately for James. And maybe with the balloon, that could really actually help start pressuring. And with this expansion James has taken, he could potentially build a balloon on this double high ground here and basically start threatening the main of Mishi. I don't know, it's still rough though.
Yeah, because Mishi still has 2 more mills on his side of the map, so...
And Mishi gonna go ahead and open up very economic, you know, double farms off just 2 tier 1. He sees the expansion and the tier 2, so he's gonna be happy about his choice to macro up. He probably feels nice and safe. You'd be worried if your opponent was just building nothing but tier 1.
Yeah, but if the tier 2 is a snake and you go really too greedy, you don't have enough tier 1, you can really lose the game very fast. So, I don't know. Maybe James has a chance. He's going to take his one chance at making a snake play win the game early for him. Other than that, it's pretty much...
Yeah, 3 farms for Mishi is very greedy, especially because James didn't take any of his own. James is going to try to wait until the snakes are here.
Tough.
Yeah, that barbed wire is rough. Do you just
But
want... Oof.
are really good against it, but this is stalling James long enough for Mishi to do these squirrels.
Right. Yeah, the longer that this takes for James to perform, the better it is for Mishi. And I think James has realized it's not going to work here. That clutch barbed wire. They're going to start building his own farms.
It's so painful to watch for James. Wait, why are the mole not hitting?
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I think the moles are supposed to hit the barbed wire.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Maybe you just like move them through it. Oh, and
Yeah,
here's a
I'm
big
glad
counter
this
from
is best
Mishi,
of
and
5.
yeah.
I'm very glad it's space of 9 and not space of 7. This, I think, is if it had been the last game of the series, it would have been a bit disappointing.
Yeah, Mishi taking a relatively easy win there. Some nice map RNG, but also some good decision making to macro up just enough to put James in a really awkward position where it's like, hey, you got to come in and deal damage to me, but then I'm going to throw down a bunch of barbed wire. And I do think Mishi did a good job too there, just staying on the tier 1. You know, he probably would have been in trouble if he tried to get out a tier 2 Warren. And maybe James shouldn't have committed to the snake. You know, maybe if James just went pure squirrel mole, maybe he could have got in there a little faster.
Well, like you say, Mishi played that very well, but honestly, there is not a lot of good option for James at any stage of the game for this map with those decks. This is, yeah, I really like almost an automatic win, almost, for Mishi.
We got a little bit of a break here. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us. It should be pretty short. I think the players just need a restroom break or something like that. So it's 4-3 for Mishi. If he wins one more, then that's it. He wins the grand finals. I wonder what he's going to bring to the table. Do you try to play standard? Or maybe Mishi feels like, okay, I've got a game to spare. You know, I can try to do something tricky and pull a fast one on James, and even if I lose, it's not a big deal.
That sounds a lot like something Mishi would do.
I think it is important that actually James, I don't know who asked for the break here, did get a break, because that sort of game...
James,
he stole Hopper.
Yeah, he's stealing Hopper.
Yeah.
Because those sort of games have the potential to tilt, and you go into another game right after that, and if you don't have the right mindset, you could just end up spiraling.
Oh yeah, but I think those two players have a really strong mind. Like Mishi didn't get tilted when he lost to the cabin.
Yeah, that's a good point. That would be pretty infuriating. But mindset is, you know, 90% of it in a best of 9, right? I mean, these players are both pretty evenly matched as far as skill goes. What we're kind of figuring out here is how you, like, who can navigate a series better. And things like tilt, things like mentality, things like being sneaky, you know, really make a big difference. But I feel like these guys are very evenly matched for the most part, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think Mishi has a big advantage because he has a wider deck range to play in a series. Though I think Mishi can also do sometimes some unreliable deck or some memes, especially when he's leading. So maybe we will see him do some artillery play.
That would be awesome.
Because he's 1 point ahead, but I don't know.
He actually has pulled that out in the Premier Division before. I can't recall who he was playing against, but I do remember watching him in a match where he ran, basically the core of the deck was Chameleon, Turret, and Artie. And he did what you would expect. He kind of took a close mill, he kept the pressure on, and then he used the turrets and like a couple Warrens to help him get out an artillery cannon. So maybe we'll see something cool like that. I mean, you know, James, for the most part, is probably going to run Boar, probably going to run Balloon, but if you're James, do you switch it up? Do you go for like an heirloom composition, you know, where you're just real heavy on the tier 2 and try to stay aggressive, or do you go for the ultra late game with something like Owl Badger, you know, Skunk Falcon?
If James is going to take alls for the last game, because we've seen him try to get all in his decks, but he never had a chance to build them so far, if I'm not mistaken.
What do you think is a good response? Like, if you're assuming you're up against like Chameleon, Snake, or Falcon with the Wolf, like, what would you want to fight against that?
Either Tots, a lot of Tots, or a big minefields and owls for the late game, if you play defensively. Mines are really good if you cannot dodge the minefield. But Mishi is pretty good at dodging the minefield, because I played a lot of games with him recently, and he was pretty was much better than other player at dodging mines. So, but if it was not for that, I think that Cam are a bit overrated because they are easy to kite with snake, skunk, and mines.
Right.
And Toads just break them if you don't have Toads of your own in the late game. And I was a bit surprised that James did not bring a lot more Toads in the 60-minute games.
Yeah, that's where you can really afford to go up to like 9 Toads or something. But I'm glad James is taking a break. I mean, this is a long series. They've already played 7 matches, and this is an important match coming up for James. He's got to win 2 in a row. If Mishi takes one more map, then that's it. He's a tournament winner.
You know, it's a shame that game happened there, because we sort of eclipsed that halfway point, and I was fully expecting going into that game that we were going to see something potentially different to sort of switch up the other players, but unfortunately we didn't get much information from that. And hopefully, you know, coming away from this break, there isn't a full reset in mindsets here, where they go back to what they were doing before. Maybe we'll see something, you know, thought up over these past 3 minutes. Try to pull one over on the next player.
Yeah, I think James's best shot is to capitalize on Mishi's over-aggression, like you were talking about, Ultima. Like, I think that's really smart, because that's just who Mishi is as a player. He wants to get in and find damage. He wants to flank you with his lizards or his cams, and how do you go about punishing that? James is doing a phenomenal job, by the way, throughout the series, like really minimizing that chameleon harass damage and watching Mishi's commander, moving his units appropriately. And we saw James get some big wins off the back of Mishi being too aggressive. So, you know, maybe owls are something you consider, right? Like, get up your balloon, try to get up some nice real estate on the map, and get up to that big ultra late game comp.
To defend against Mishi, I would use mines instead of balloons, but since it's James, it's probably too much to ask to expect him not to take balloons.
Yeah, it seems like in these games we've seen the ones where Mishi lost. It's been times where he's lost an attack and James has gone in for the counter in some ways. I'd like to see what would happen if Mishi, I don't know, attempted a defensive position and see how James handles the, you know, aggression. See if he can actually dish out what Mishi usually does.
So
maybe catch him in a mistake, you know?
What do you think about this, the gentleman? Let me see if I can pull it up on the stream. So we got a clip from...
Oh, I got that too.
Let me see. How do I do this? If I do that, there we go. And then I do this.
Do I need to open the stream?
Yeah, so like this clip here, it looks like James held the button down on these moles, you know, and they walk through the barbed wire rather than hitting them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you think that was just a mistake, or like why do you think he would do that? Because that was a pretty clutch spot in that match.
Okay, I'm seeing the clip now. I don't understand what the mole are doing actually. This is really weird because it's not like he's rallying them through the barbed wire. So maybe it was a bug, or maybe they didn't know which type to stop themselves on. I don't know. We should show that to Illuminatus, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was at first gonna say it's a straight up bug, but I mean, do you think he was just holding the move button down?
No. He's not holding the move button.
Yeah, it looked like he was just standing by the barbed wire.
Yeah, the commander is behind the mole, so if he was holding the rally button, going towards the commander and not towards the barbed wire. So it's really weird. It's either a bug or a path finding issue for the mole because of the tile. I'm going to take a 30-second break.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I guess while we're waiting, might as well let the casters get up for a second. So I'll put it on a very short break, guys. Let us stretch our legs, grab a drink, and we will be back momentarily. Alright, I'm back at least. Any of you gentlemen there? They might still be AFK. But this is fun. This is a really good series. It's pretty neck and neck. A little bit unfortunate for James on that last map, but I don't think it was just the map's fault. I think he could have played it a little differently. Looks like Mishi is back here. So I came back at perfect timing. The other casters aren't back yet, but no problem. You guys can be stuck with me in the meantime. And here we go. What is this, match number 8 here? I love Mishi. I love both these players. I'm actually good friends with both of them. Have known them for a long time, but personally, I'm rooting for James here. I want to see this go to a match 9. That would be so hype. But if Mishi wins it right here, that'd be great too. This is already a match 8 and a best of 9s. Pretty good. Mishi deciding what he wants to bring to the table.
Oh, no worries, Delphius, you're not alone.
Oh, what's up, Avy? Oh my god, Mishi, go Wolf Fox. Alright, if Mishi goes Wolf Fox, then it's going to put me in a dilemma. Because I want James to win. Because that would be best of 9. I mean, we get to game 9, but I would love to see Mishi win with Fox Artie. He's just teasing me right now.
I knew it. I knew he would go Artie after being ahead in the series.
So does he grab Turret as the 6th pick to help get that artillery down a little easier? No, Barbed Wire, that makes sense too.
Balloon, like against Haru in the semi-final.
Oh my god, I love this deck out of Mishi. Let's see it, guys. This is an important match. In the bottom, we've got Mishi, and up top, really needing a win here, we've got James.
Mishi took this deck in the penultimate game against Haru because he was ahead, but he lost it because of the deck. And then Haru almost won the last game, so I hope Mishi is not going to regret his meme in this series.
I think what's redeeming about this deck for Mishi is if you cover up the right half of the deck, and pretend it doesn't exist. Like Squirrel Cam's Snake is pretty solid, right? Like you can make some good work happen with that in the mid game. But if he can get to the other units, that would be awesome. But I think this map looks a lot better for James. He's got 4 expansions right here. He's got a high ground. And Mishi, he does have a little bit going on for him down here with 3 bases and a 4th one over the side. So not horrible, but I mean, where does Mishi, I guess he can try to put his defense right on the edge of his high ground, to fire onto the territory of James. But we'll see if it even gets to that. 8 farm openings too here from both sides.
It's a shame. Typically, when you run that artillery, you want, another mill in the range of another, so you can potentially protect 2 at one time, but there's really no great case for Mishi here.
Yeah, he cannot pressure James' mills. He can only defend himself with the artillery. And I think James could win this game with just pure squares and tots. But, of course, I don't think James is going to suspect that he's facing that very particular deck from Mishi. So he might not have the easiest time exploiting it.
And look at this greedy opening again from Mishi. James is going to scout it out. He's got Chameleons on the way, but Mishi is already trying to get that economic advantage, which would be very nice to play around with extra silly units like Fox Balloon Artillery. Have a little extra bang in the bank there.
Yeah, this is well played from Mishi because the match is so long and James didn't go for a fast time himself. So I think James is going to be a bit behind from this opening.
Yeah, he needs to get something done with these chameleons. He'd like to come in and kill a pig or something if possible. Mishi should be on top of this though. He's just gonna settle for a squirrel.
Yeah.
And take it home. But if James just builds a whole bunch of farms right here, yeah, I think he can still come back.
Oh yeah.
Snakes on the way for Mishi. Mishi is gonna see the big economic investment, probably go home and just go straight to 16 farms if I had to guess.
But it's dangerous to not have a lot of T1 if the opponent is going for it.
So what's the move if you're Mishi here? I think you could put like an artillery up in the north corner of this high ground and kind of defend things pretty well, but I don't think you really want to be defending with an artillery as much as you want to be aggressive with it.
Yeah. I don't know how Mishi wins this game actually.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, what is Mishi's win opportunity? Because, you know, James has more T2 opportunity. He has the Toads to counter the T2 from Mishi and the Boar to be aggressive. But Mishi has a lot of game plan in his deck, but none of them can really be executed well considering the map that he has right now.
If he can get this tier 3 advantage, and he does have the Fox down, but the Boar should be dropping soon. I mean, he can get a lot of work done with the Fox, but even still, I don't know if it's going to be enough. You know, the Fox ideally wants to be fighting in between big engagements. You know, there's better units, you know, for that big direct fight. Look at this, James actually with the Boar bluff. I don't think he's seen the Fox.
Pretty great game for the balloons as well, huh?
Yeah.
The Fox is gonna have a hard time getting in there.
Yeah, and in another regard too, you know, only the snakes and squirrels for Mishi can hit those balloons, and this double balloon, you know, James would probably be happy when he sees the Fox on the way, and Mishi just having his cake and eating it too, man. Like, he's just got everything on the way. He's got a tier 3, he's got a third base.
But James doesn't know about the Fox yet.
Here comes that Artie. I think that's going to trigger James to move out.
That's a lot of food in his structures right now. Very little army.
Plus 360 in the Fox, which isn't here yet.
Whoa. James hits the perfect timing.
I think Mishi just might be trying to do too many things at once here.
I think the Fox might come out in time, but he's gonna lose that. Ooh.
Oh man, yeah, the Fox will be able to push all this back out. No problem. But a nice victory there for James. And I think what James got to do in response to this Fox is just build a crazy amount of tier 1, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A ton of T1 and a ton of pigs.
But this artillery really puts a clock on James. He can't sit back for too long. He cannot let that artillery get up defended by the balloons. Good job coming in here. I think he lost his commander, though. Yeah.
Good cells. Mishi has so much food. He just wants to get this Artie up.
And here's the Fox harass coming back in. I don't know, Mishi's got really good micro, and the Fox has a lot of comeback mechanics built into it. Ooh, even getting that chameleon after re-stealth, like the bullet already shot. This Fox played so far so good for Mishi. James probably needs a balloon on the right side or something, I think. Maybe you just sell off the balloons and build a bunch of squirrels and be super aggressive. I don't know. Another big attack coming in here from James. Mishi's got so much at this point, though. Is he gonna have enough to break this position?
This is sort of what I was saying before. This is the sort of reverse that's happening in the last few games. It's now James attempting to be aggressive, but Mishi just, I think, understands the defensive play so well that he's holding off the poor attacks from James.
What's really nice is this artillery is like forcing James to be aggressive, you know? Like, he doesn't want to let that get up, so he's continuing to attack in non-opportune moments before he gets like this big critical mass to just overwhelm the Fox, and the Fox has paid off in dividends here for Mishi.
Does he really have to attack if
Yeah.
the artillery gets finished? Because he would just have to concede a little bit of ground around his expand, but other than that, he would still be fine in economy, I think.
Yeah, that is true. He could just ignore it. I mean, how is this
Because
going to
it's-
split? It looks like if James calms down a little bit, he's going to have 4 gristmills versus 3, and yeah, there's this other one over here on the side, but it'll be
Yeah,
a
you
little
can
bit
just
more difficult to take.
Relocate his one. Whoa, why so many falcons? Ah, come on, James. Because of the artillery, maybe. But I think what he really needs is a lot of squirrels and toads.
Yeah, this is the balloon giving the high ground vision here. Mishi is sieging him down with this artillery, but as Gentleman pointed out, yeah, he's going to get a couple warrens,
Just build a lot of farms on the back extent. But it's true that the poking is very, very annoying situation.
yeah, Mishi's
James
got
should
the
have-
better economy at this point as well. You know, I think James really should have committed hard on that 4 base a little bit earlier on. You know, now Mishi's looking to be in a very good spot. James
Oh, look at that.
got the
That's
boar
going
up
to-
though, and he's got a
This is
lot of
nice.
falcons. Maybe he can just crash through.
Oh,
Oh, and he
yeah.
catches all these
Okay.
snakes.
Yeah,
He's gonna just walk right in. That boar can deal with that artillery very quickly. Mishi's got 2 artillery cannons up though, and the balloons here.
the bourbon. Oh, okay. It only got like 1 canyon.
Oh my god. Did Mishi do it?
That's too much falcons to fight against the fox.
Yeah, this fox, I mean, just eating these falcons up, no problem. One-shotting them, they're very slow. The fox is pretty much a hard counter to the falcons.
Yeah.
And I don't know if James has got enough. It looks like Mishi might be our TNT Championship 2020 winner. Let's see, though. I think James has got 1 more try in him. Mishi is going dry. He doesn't have a whole lot of income left, but he can maybe sell off this artillery, start building up on the 3rd base. He's got campfires running up.
James is shooting to sell the chameleons rather than the falcon. And I cannot understand why.
Do you think he did just want them just for the artillery, killing them potential? Because if he does go
yeah.
too heavy tier 1, he's going to get wrecked by the artillery to try to counter the fox. So I guess he's sort of in a tough tug of war of what he wants.
Right. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
difficult spot to be in for sure. James
true,
has
it's-
massed up another army though. Maybe he's got 1 more try now. Well, then again, you know, if he calms down, maybe this game will continue. I mean, does he have to attack here? Or can he try to just stay back and macro up? But no, he's gonna go for it again. He wants to try and deny this base for Mishi and try to take the fight outside of the artillery. But Mishi's army looks to be enough to clean this up. Just barely. Only the fox remaining. The fox is... Oh, 3 HP.
No, the fox! The fox!
Oh, he might get it.
Oh, 1 HP on the fox. Oh my god.
Oh!
Damn,
Fox.
dude. So close.
It looked like the fox was stuck by the little wood pile.
And now there's the sell on the artillery. There's the commitment to more farms here from Mishi. Gonna rebuild up that tier 2. Kept the fox alive. That was absolutely critical. If James
Oh, yeah.
killed that fox, you know, his path to a victory would have been a lot clearer. He's gonna move back in and try again.
I really think the falcons are a bad idea in this situation.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, that
Yeah,
attack,
so you cannot chase your units like the fox do.
that attack did not work out for James at all. Unfortunately, Mishi just kind of kited him to death there.
Especially at this point where he's no longer attacking into the artillery, the
Yeah.
falcons really don't need to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Toads get a nice connection, but I think Mishi's just kind of winning the numbers war. He's got the better economy. This game was so close. If that Fox went down, maybe he would have had a chance. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. James taps out, and Mishi takes it 5-3 and is now the Tooth and Tail champion until the next event comes on. Congratulations to Mishi for the victory. Some great games out of James. And that was a lot of fun. Maybe Mishi wants to interview. I'll ask him.
Congratulations to Michi and congratulations to Zon as well, because he predicted outcome of the final. He did say Michi would win 5-3.
Oh,
no, sorry.
DML did?
No. DML did predict 5 fails. I don't know. Okay, so no congratulations for DML.
That was a lot of fun. Let me see if Mishi wants to do an interview. I pinged him on the Discord, but congratulations, man. 5-3 for our finals here. And again, big shout out to everybody who helped either participate in this event, put it on, cast it, stream it. Lots of people behind the back scene. And I think Mishi's coming on in. Is he in my... Yeah, he's in my Discord. So...
Yeah, Gustav or Mochaccino, I should say, put a lot of effort in organizing the...
Yeah, Mochaccino, Epicosity, Marmu, all did a great job on the organization of this one. I bet you were happy to have a break, gentlemen. Typically, you're the guy organizing all the events.
Yeah, I know how much work it is, so I'm pretty happy it's not me who's doing the work for once. Yeah.
And it looks like we've got Mishi here. What's up, man? Congratulations on the big tournament victory.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Oh, your sound is a bit loud.
It's a bit low. I can fix that, I think. How about now? Is this better?
Yeah, that's definitely better. So I love the Fox artillery in the last game, man.
Yeah, that one was for you though. I know you like it.
I appreciate. I saw you go Fox Wolf. I was like, all right, man. This is a Delphius match.
I tried to do RT Balloon against Haru and I failed. I think it's like it's kind of very map dependent. Yeah. It wasn't the best map for that, but it was better than what I had against Haru.
I think you got a lot of value out of it vicariously, because you kept, like, just by threatening to throw down the artillery, you kept making James come in at a time that wasn't quite right for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, by the way, did he cancel the boar? Because he kept pushing without the boar that I know was almost out, I believe.
He did eventually have a boar in one of his attacks.
Yeah, but he was okay. So when he was attacking, he had the boar building still.
Right.
I didn't expect that he would attack when he was so close to the boar, but his attacks did a lot of damage. I mean, I tried to put down the balloons, and he kept taking them down. It's like a lot of. But luckily, I found that there was another mill on the other side, so I could, kind of artillery creep that way.
That 1 HP Fox, man.
Ooh.
1 HP.
Yeah, probably I lose the game if I lose the Fox.
That was very clutch. What do you got, gentlemen? I'll let you lead this. What do you have any questions for Mishi about the series?
I don't know. Yeah, what's the thought process behind the decks you're selecting, and in particular that last game's deck?
For the
is it for
the last ones?
Yeah, for the last one, but for the other decks in general, like how do you decide the decks that you're choosing? Are you trying to counter what James is going to pick? Are you playing for the names, or whatever is going through your mind at that point, or is it like an elaborate, prepared set of decks that you had in mind?
Right. There's a couple of things. Some people, not James, but other players, like, tend to stick to some decks. So then I kind of come up with like something that will counter specifically. But I always kind of pick decks that kind of suit my style. I like to play like pokey and harassing and aggressive. So all the decks like kind of go that way, and I try to change decks almost every game so that people cannot really predict me and I can prepare against them. That's kind of the motivation. Sometimes I'm feeling risky, so I pulled it, but that's normally when I'm ahead, when I have a little bit of room for high risk, high reward kind of decks.
How do you feel about the current meta in general? I know you're kind of one of the guys like most of us have been here for so long. You kind of pop in, maybe play some events, take a break, come back, that sort of thing. So I think the modern meta is a little bit different than it has been in the past. I mean, does anything kind of stand out to you in particular, or good or bad about it?
I think, I mentioned this to EO and I put it in the Discord before, but I think this patch is really, really good compared to the previous one. I think a lot of things were corrected. And I don't know, the more I play, I kind of have different, for example, like James played Toads that were very, very efficient against me in the early game, which was, I thought that I would just stomp him when he played like Squirrel Toad in the start.
That was a surprise for me too.
Yeah, when those two Toads just annihilated like all your squirrels in that one really aggressive game.
Yeah. So that I think those just made me lose the game, that one. Although that map was like, I think, was that game 6?
You're talking about the one where both of you put down really aggressive Warrens?
Oh no, that one was, I just missed microed and I didn't kill him.
Yeah, the Toad got the connect on. Yeah.
But yeah, so I still think the Toads are, they've got their place. I think the balance overall is really good though. Even Falcons, which I consider like the weakest tier 2, they're still very viable, and in some situations they work really well because you kind of rely on things like mines for defense. Like
right,
mines is really good, and some builds kind of lie that you're going to stop a push with mines, but then they come with Falcons.
Yeah, or they can use counter certain tier 3 or things like that.
Hara did that very effectively earlier this morning, where he would, I would make a build that would work normally, and he would hold cams, but he would push with moles and falcons, like square mole falcon push, and he would actually, because he would break my defense because I was preparing for chameleons, and he came with falcons that obviously mines aren't so good against falcons.
Right.
Yeah.
Mishi, you had mentioned yourself that you are a very aggressive and pokey player. And one consistent thing that we saw throughout this entire series is that James ran Balloon in almost every single game. Do you feel that was effective against your play style?
It was super frustrating to play against the Balloons, because in many situations he got really good maps for Balloons. I mean, I think in most games you don't like that kind of sweet high ground over your expansions, and he always had like a high ground near where he would just put the balloon on game 6. Almost infuriating to play. Yeah, he had like balloons perfectly positioned, and so and I couldn't. I think it was smart. I think that balloons actually worked out better for him than mines would, because I like to move around and harass with chameleons and lizards, and he would always know where I am in the map, so that was hard to play against.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job of tracking your commander's movements throughout that series. Like you kept trying to come in with the cams, but most of the time he was in the spot to deflect you, and that's harder to do than people think. Really making sure you're on top of things like that.
Yeah, he was very good at just tracking my chameleon.
Yeah, but Mishi, do you remember that wolf-buffed chameleons actually are visible by the enemy? They see the wolf-buff light glowing around the chameleons.
But that, I mean, you can see them, but I'm more concerned about like pre-wolf kind of chameleon harassment that he can stop. I mean, once you have like wolf, you can buff them, and it doesn't matter if you see them because they're swift chameleons and you can get damage. But,
oh yeah. I was just thinking about the last flanking attempt in game 6, the games that last 15 minutes.
The long game, like games.
Yeah, the one where he made his final push when he saw your chameleon going for his expand.
Yeah, there was. I don't know what I could have done there. I feel like that map was really rough to play against his balloon
Oh, yeah.
turtle.
Yeah, that one choke he kept trying to go into was really difficult, especially with the
Yeah.
boar there too.
Yeah, and yeah, he had boar, and it
Yeah,
was like a choke. Like everything was a choke, so I couldn't really get in there. And then he had like I kind of tried to push all in and get that balloon that was there, and I lost all my armor. I don't know. That was a very hard map to play with the deck I had. And like if I had owls, I'm pretty sure I would have done pretty well in that map. But I didn't have owls. I had wolf. That's the one game I wish I had owls. You know, there was one game I played Jen's deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So
It's,
Jen gave me that deck like maybe 2 days ago, and I thought I'd just like play it for varieties. Like, it worked.
Yeah, it was a strong setup. Overall, I thought it was a lot of fun, man. What do you think of the? I like the best of 9, to be honest, for large matches like this. I think in the past we have gone up to best of 7, but I think in general on this tournament we did a lot more best of 7s and best of 9s than we have previously. I mean, what do all of you think really in general about that? I personally like it because the matches are so short and map
Yeah.
variance can be an issue. You know, it'd be a shame if you played
Exactly.
a best of 5 and you lost 2 matches real quick because you just got bad RNG or something.
I think
Yeah.
Jen said himself on that. What was it?
The penultimate game when Mishi was. It was 3-3, and Mishi
Yes.
won to 4-3 in a map that, to be honest, James had no chance to win, especially given his deck too. So like the penultimate game was one is of the most unfair map, and if it had ended like that, if it had been a best of 7, it would have been okay. 4-3, James loses like that after trying to break the barbed wire because he had no other choice.
Right.
It would have been a bit anticlimactic compared to the last game we had, the Fox 1 HP Fox and everything. So yeah, I'm really glad we had a best of 9 for this final series. At least. I hope it wasn't too draining for you guys, for players. Like,
It was
you had
for
to take a
me.
break. Yeah.
I'm like so tired. I mean, especially I played the best of 7 against Haru in the morning. That was an 1 hour long match.
Right.
That went 4-3. So, and then this series that was very long as well. Maybe 2 breaks, or maybe like a short break after 3 games or something. That's the good thing is that it's not gonna be, you know, best of 9 is not more than 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a smart
good.
idea to schedule in breaks maybe for longer series, or have that kind of be like your one series of the day. You know, like you're gonna play just the best of 9 or something. But I thought it was cool.
Well, it was going to be that, but Haru ran into some issues. We were going to play yesterday, but he couldn't make it, so that's why we scheduled.
Well,
but
cool.
that's-
I'm glad to see you hanging out again in the scene, Mishi. You thinking about doing any streaming or anything like that?
I thought about streaming yesterday. I'm still kind of getting my setup. Recently got some new gear, and yeah, maybe I'll stream a bit. Maybe when I prepare for the next tournament, right? I don't know. Do you know when this season 2?
So it's not announced yet, but I think the initial plan for Mochaccino and the other tournament was to do a second season later this year, in fall. But I don't have the exact dates. You need to ask them or to wait for the dates to be announced. But there will definitely be a second season, and then at the very end of the year, there will be a super championship for which you are qualified because you are one of the from the 3 division.
I hope we get some more tournaments in between because it's been so good to have so much TNT content.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got Pocket World going on right now, so that's a really good incentive to hit the ladder and do some rank matches at the very least. But I'm sure it won't be too long until another organizer, either old or new,
Yeah.
pops up with another event.
Actually, I was thinking of doing a sixth season of the 21 something between the Pocket World and the second season of the Tooth and Tail Championships.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be a lot of fun. I would be 100%
Yeah, and
down
also-
for that.
It was also a lot of fun to watch the beginner series and the intermediate series finals. Were pretty
Oh,
high
yeah.
level actually.
Yeah, a lot of the
Very-
intermediate players were great, and I'm actually really happy with how many streamers we've had involved with this. You know, a lot of times it's just me and Tosh, maybe Jet, but a whole bunch of new faces starting to stream as well. Even a couple old Kerpa doing some streaming, Marmu streaming, Solomon streaming. Probably even more than that. So I love it, man. The more content we can get, the better.
Yeah, we got some new things as well, like Jet Erickson's cabin reviews.
Yeah.
I'll keep it-
Jet's always a ton of fun. I think he's a phenomenal caster. I need to do some duo casting with him sometime soon. That'd be fun. But all right, guys, I'm sure y'all are tired and ready to move on. Any last words you guys got for Mishi besides congratulations on the big victory here?
Not really.
Okay, guys.
Just congratulations.
All right, I'll see you in the next tournament.
Take care, man. Thanks again, everybody who tuned in, who participated as a player, as a streamer, as a caster, as an organizer. Big shout out to Mochaccino and, of course, Mishi for winning the whole thing. A ton of fun, man. Really great. This kind of thing's just really, really good for the scene. The more events
yeah.
we can have like this, absolutely the better. And I think what impressed me the most was just so many players coming out of the woodworks for it, like guys like Mishi. And it is a big incentive to come back. Maybe you haven't played in a little while, then you hear, oh shoot, there's this big tournament going on. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. I mean, I think when it was all said and done, there was easily more than 60 people involved with this. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mostly like to play in the events. This kind of tournament makes me come back and have fun playing.
If you want to see Mishi play, you need to organize big. He won't play for anything less.
There you go.
But,
And
yeah,
now,
it
this
was-
isn't your first win, is it, Mishi? I feel like you've won a tournament before, right?
I've
He
won
won
a
the
few.
21 something, the first two seasons. The
Yeah,
21
yeah.
ones.
There it is.
And then there was another one.
Yeah, I feel like you've got a couple of championships under your
I've
belt.
got a couple. Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, it's always cool. You're a professional gamer now. You're getting that $40, so
That's right.
you got paid for this today, sir.
That's at least 2 Tooth and Tails.
That's right. There you go.
Please.
Buy some for your friends. Oh, yeah, seriously, man. If you start streaming again, Mishi, I'm sure people would love it. Very hungry for that kind of thing. So, all right, guys. I guess we'll wrap this up. Any last thoughts? Anybody?
I'm just looking forward, as everyone said, to more Tooth and Tail content. As you mentioned before, we already have plans already for tournaments later in the year, and typically these things don't get announced till maybe a month out, so it's great to just have that stuff ready and get people hyped for the next thing that's coming down the road.
Absolutely. And
Okay, so maybe I should try to announce my thing
yeah, gentlemen,
soon.
quit slacking, says AV.
Okay.
You know you've got us to cast it. You know you got Mishi to win it. So
yeah, he said he would, if it's big enough.
one thing I do want to mention I thought was really cool before we wrap this up about this event was the beginner, intermediate, and advanced tiers. I think that really encouraged more people to get involved because it is just a
yeah.
game, and mentality in any competitive game is so important. Like, I can't stress how important it is to like really learn how to stay on top of yourself and not tilt, and especially, I mean, everybody does it, but I think it's a really important skill as a competitive gamer. So coming into tournaments and even if you lose, just kind of feeling good about it. Hey, you had fun, you had a good time. It's not the end of the world or anything, but I still think it can be hard for players to be excited about entering an event and then just getting knocked out by James in round one or something. So having the different divisions I think was really advantageous, and I think that really helped get more people involved.
Yeah, and there was a mentoring program as
Yeah, like with the coaches too. Josh had done. I've seen Josh poking his head around. Maybe we gotta get Josh to organize something again, and give him a little kick. Hey man, it's your turn. 'Cause the old Josh tournaments were a lot of fun. I think he organized the one we had. I'm sure you guys remember it, where it was like a beginner teamed up with a pro.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Oh, yeah,
It was a really
yeah.
cool tournament.
It was cool. It was like the beginners would fight each other, the pros would fight each other, and then it would be like a 2v2 where you're on the team with your buddy. So I thought that was
so
really
long
fun.
ago. Yeah, it was so long ago, and no one did another beginner-friendly tournament like that afterwards.
Yeah, basically until now, for the most part. So, all right, guys, I guess we do need to wrap this up. I'm sure everybody is tired and ready to roll. But thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. It was super awesome. We've got, take it easy, Mishi. Thanks for the interview, man. It's always good talking to you. We've got Pocket World going on, too. So hit those ranked games. That's a really fun mini game that Master Stealth's put together based on your ranked performances. And now that the tournament's out of the way, I'm going to go back to my regularly scheduled feasts on Friday nights. So make sure you guys are sending me some replays to toothandtailtv@gmail.com so I can continue providing some replay content. EU versus US tournament. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
it was
think,
organized by Pedro. He
didn't
won the beginner league, actually.
Didn't Arbuz end up winning that?
You mean the European team as a whole?
Yeah. But like the last.
But Pedro organized that tournament. He was a tournament organizer for that, and he also won the beginner finals today. So like a little bit of coincidence.
That's awesome. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody. You're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. I will see y'all next Friday at the latest. And yeah, that's it. Take care, everybody. Congrats to Mishi. See y'all next time.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks.